What's going on, guys? I'm Zach from the Lumios Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we're going to be talking about my biggest hopes for Scarlet and Violet DLC. Now, in case you need a refresher on the English language, these are my hopes, and hopes means I really want. Not necessarily my predictions, but my hopes. I am going to try my best to keep these, in line with the realm of possibility. I'm not going to put national decks and all gimmicks or anything like that, but I am going to have some that may be a little out there. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well on these, as well as just your own hopes for the DLC, so be sure to leave your hopes in the comments below. Okay, so my first hope for Scarlet and Violet DLC is that we get new stadiums for Wi-Fi battles. I'm going to try to keep this first one very, very tame and not controversial, but I gotta say, coming from Sword and Shield, where we had all these different stadiums that we'd battle in, like when you did player versus player or you did the ranked battles online, you would be in a different either gym stadium or the kind of just Wi-Fi gym stadium, and it was huge. It was this expansive football arena, and there were crowds in the stands, and it was so neat. Well, then Scarlet and Violet, all of these battles take place on these school grounds, and I gotta be honest, that's kind of a letdown, to be real. That was really disappointing. I mean, it's just insanely lackluster in comparison to the grand scale of the stadiums of Sword and Shield. And obviously, I understand, it was because Sword and Shield was kind of themed around that, with battles and gym battles being, sports there, while Scarlet and Violet's a school setting. So I do understand that. I just wish, maybe the school had a stadium or a gymnasium or something where these battles took place, or even let us battle like they did in Sword and Shield on the different gym leader battlefields. So, sometimes your battle might be in that plaza square in the middle of Lavencia. Sometimes it might be, on top of that big tower in Alfornada. I really think that they kind of just dropped the ball there when it comes to just how grand Sword and Shields were, and then how small and only one of the battlefields in Scarlet and Violet there were. And that's, I don't know. Maybe I'm being nitpicky, but let me know your thoughts on that. Did you think it was lackluster too? Because I was really, really disappointed in that. Now, moving into my next hope, I'm going to get a little bit more crazy with this one, and that is, I hope that Mega Evolution returns. I know. Boo this man. I get it. But no, seriously, I do hope it returns, and I do think it's possible. There's a lot of people who say that it'll break the balance of the game. That's just simply not true. They could find a way around that. For one, they could always ban the use of Mega Evolution in ranked battles or in VGC so that you can't use them there. But for two, and I think this is most likely, let's say I have Lucario out. By having my Lucario hold a Lucario Knight, which, allows Lucario to Mega Evolve, he would be unable to Terra. Instead of the little Terrastol button that you'd see, it'd be a Mega Evolution symbol. So this would keep you from being able to Mega Evolve your Lucario and then Terra it into a Steel type or whatever. It wouldn't be like that. It would just be you either Mega it or you Terra it. I think that would be a really nice way to balance that aspect of it, introducing Megas. And again, I do think it's possible. Pokemon has made a point to keep Mega Evolution alive in its absence from the mainline games. We last saw it in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and I guess Let's Go, that is mainline. So we last saw it in Let's Go, which was Gen 7. It was absent for all of the Gen 8 games: Sword and Shield, Sword and Shield's DLC, Legends Arceus, and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. But they made sure to bring it into Pokemon Go. They made sure to bring it in to Pokemon Masters. They even kind of had hints about it in Legends Arceus, what with the giant Gardevoir statue, and of course we have hints to it in Scarlet and Violet with Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant's designs, but also just Roaring Moon's Dex entry in Violet, as well as his information in the Occult books in Scarlet. We also have a lot of megas in the anime. In the anime, not only did Ash take on many Mega Evolution opponents this generation, but he also got his very first Mega Evolution in Lucario. And my whole point in saying this is to say, Pokemon doesn't want us to forget about Mega Evolution. If they were going to scrap Mega Evolution, they wouldn't have it in all these other forms of media. You know what I mean? Like, in a similar way, they clearly want us to forget about Ash Greninja. So all they're going to give us is a small little poster that resembles him in Scarlet and Violet, but then other than that, they're going to, change flashback scenes in the anime to not have him. And they're going to, change the way Battle Bond works in the game. They made it very clear they are trying to get rid of that, whereas with Mega Evolution, they're very much keeping it alive and keeping it on our heads. So I do think it's possible to return. I do think there's ways to balance it. And that kind of leads us into our next point, which is, I hope that there's some kind of Kalos connection. Look, we're not going to the Kalos region in DLC. That is just way too massive of a DLC. It would have to be one part DLC, and it'd be just the Kalos region if they were to do that. And frankly, I don't think they will, because one, there's the whole thing of Kalos is a linear game with linear routes, whereas Scarlet and Violet is big open world, so they would have to redesign the entire Kalos region to fit in with that. And even if they didn't, they would have to redesign all these routes to, look like the art style and the, engine as Scarlet and Violet. And, I mean, the Kalos region is huge. Lumio City alone is huge. So to redo all of that for a DLC is so incredibly unlikely. And then, frankly, there's the fact that, just being real, these games are buggy as is. GameFreak cannot in 1 year add a whole nother region to it without the game just crashing. In fact, it crashes now, so... But I do hope that there is a Kalos connection, and what I mean by that is they've kind of dropped some Easter eggs to Kalos being a neighboring region. Like, the main one to me is that in the top right, the part that would border Kalos in Paldea, there are 3 dragon trainers, and they use a Noivern, a Gudra, and a Dragalge, respectively, which are the 3 Kalos dragons that are available in Paldea. So it was clearly a reference, and there's some other stuff too, but I just hope we get, like, officially confirmed, hey, Kalos region is actually our neighbor, or maybe even Sycamore pops up. If they were to give us Mega Evolution, that'd be a great way to do it, is have Sycamore pop up and give us a keystone, similar to how in Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, we get Mega Evolution by Dexio and Cena giving us that, which, of course, they are characters from Kalos. Now, I do think that it's possible we could go to South Kalos, which is a region south of Kalos, if you can believe it, and they can make it much smaller, Isle of Armor or Crown Tundra size, so that it can indeed be a DLC package, and I would be very, very happy with that. But at the very least, I hope that we do get Sycamore or some kind of other tie-in to that. That brings us into our next point, and that is that I hope we have past characters return. Look, we were spoiled with Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, and I think we took it for granted. We had all these past characters pop up. I mean, some of them were, like, super relevant to the story. I mean, you had Colress was relevant to the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Team Rainbow Rocket plot. Obviously, all the past evil team leaders were very relevant to the Team Rainbow Rocket plot. You have Dexio and Cena giving you Mega Evolution and the Zygarde Core. You have Grimsley giving you, the Ride Pager for Sharpedo. Just all these different things of these characters popping up. And then at the Battle Tree, you have Red, Blue, Cynthia, Wally, all kinds of characters appearing. Annabelle played a giant role in the end. Then in Sword and Shield, we got nothing. And that was fine. They don't have to give it to us every game, and certainly not on the scale of Alola. And the fact is, the reason there was so much of that in Alola was Alola, Sun and Moon specifically, were Pokemon's 20th celebration games. Those were the games that were coming out because Pokemon was turning 20 years old. So that's why they had them all filled with that stuff, especially Red and Blue. But either way, I do really hope we get some returning characters in these games, because I miss seeing those characters, and I love seeing them come back, redesign, and hearing their themes with little remakes. It's some of the best moments from past Pokemon games are when older characters pop up. I mean, there's that whole meme of Cynthia when you walk into that house in Ondella Town, and then Cynthia's right there, and her music starts playing, the little piano music. The most iconic moments in Pokemon games tend to involve these characters because we love these characters. So please, bring them back. I have a whole theory on how they could bring Volo back. So, you know, do that. Do something. Please. Please. And that brings us to our next point. It's neat how all of these are tying together. Wasn't even planned, but I would like a battle facility. You know, all these characters popped up in the battle tree. I want a battle facility. You don't have to have all these characters pop up. It'd be very nice if you did, but I do want a true battle facility. I know we had the Academy Ace tournament, but with no Pokemon League rematches, I kind of see the Academy Ace tournament as as something replacing League rebattling instead of seeing it as a battle facility. Battle facilities in past games have typically been where they set your Pokemon to level 50 and you battle. It's a great way to like train for ranked or even VGC, and you can collect battle points, and those battle points can be used to buy cool items, TMs, mints, all kinds of stuff. And I want that. I want something like that. I was so upset that Scarlet and Violet didn't do that. It made the post-game feel really, really lacking. I want something I can work towards. Now, obviously, a world tournament would be phenomenal, and a battle frontier would be even better. But I will gladly take a just battle tower or battle tree equivalent where it's something standard. Now, I do, again, like I said, I would love a battle frontier, but I gave up my hopes for that long ago. But I do like those facilities where they change something, kind of like restricted sparring in Isle of Armor, where it's like battling with a twist. So if they wanted to add something smaller like that, that would be a very, very nice thing to do, and I would be super happy with it. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Those are kind of my biggest hopes for the Scarlet and Violet DLC, aside from the obvious of old Pokemon returning, you know, like more Pokemon being added into the game, which is obviously going to happen, as well as new Pokemon. That's going to happen. So these are just my hopes. Again, let me know yours in the comments below. Be sure to also like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications to keep up with all of our future Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC videos, as well as just our theories, speculation, battles, all the kinds of stuff we do on this channel. Again, we talk about all things Pokemon here. You don't want to miss that. So subscribe, like, hit the bell. Until next time, I will see all of you later.